Hello, my name is Maria Bezubova and you're at my channel Fertilizers Jazz. Here we talk about events, trends, technologies in the world of fertilizers and agriculture. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and let's jazz. With today's video, we continue our mini-series of regular quarterly market reviews and forecasts from prominent market analysts. Today, we will discuss ammonia market. In order to do this, I am very glad to host again a super cool guest, Sylvia Traganida, Senior Ammonia Editor at ICIS. I am happy to welcome you, Sylvia, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you to our listeners.
Sylvia, Q3 was quite eventful for downstream markets, especially for urea, where we saw plenty of Indian urea purchase tenders, which pushed urea price very high. But at the same time, in ammonia, situation seems to be quiet. What were the key events in Q3 that you think influenced the current situation the most and still will be important for Q4?
I think the same thing that we discussed in the previous quarters, I think, goes for Q3. We had a few issues with supply. We had some planned maintenances. There was gas issues in Egypt and Iran and Trinidad as well. Yeah, there was a search for demand as well globally. Demand was not quite there as we would have imagined, but it's slowly, trickling over to Q4. And I'm sure we're going to talk about what to expect in Q4, but I think the main trend, the main buzzword would be tight supply as well.
I see. Almost the whole Q3 passed in the bearish tone. And the Middle East actually was the leader of this bearish trend until this outage that happened and Ma'aden, of course. And now vice versa, Middle East is leading price increase, global price level increase. So what is the situation there at the moment? And what do you expect in terms of supply from Middle East in Q4?
Actually, it's good timing that we're speaking this week because I'm just back from the IFA Crossroads conference in Bangkok, and that's what everyone was talking about at the conference. It was all about Ma'aden, and I talked to people from the east, from the west. They were all asking me about Ma'aden. So Ma'aden had an unplanned shutdown. They said initially that it would last 3 months, which in itself is a long time in the ammonia world. I'm hearing murmurs here and there that might last longer, and the longer it lasts, the more of an issue it will create because, of course, Ma'aden is a very significant producer of ammonia. It ships mainly to East and Asia, and I think we are going to see that it will affect, and it has affected markets in Asia, in India. And has pushed prices up, and there's a few buyers in the spot market for cargoes to replace the Ma'aden tons. So let's see what happens with that.
Indeed, let's hope that this outage will not last any longer and will not create the additional problem to the market where prices are already elevated everywhere. In Q3, there were also some hiccups with supply from Northern Africa, specifically from Algeria. How stable do you think the supply is at the moment, and how do you see it for Q4?
At the moment in Algeria, we're not hearing any gas issues. The producers there have been operating as well as they can. So I'm not expecting any major outages in Q4. Unless there's some gas issues, which might be seasonal for the winter. So far, we're seeing ammonia prices increasing from Algeria. We've seen some recent business, mainly to Europe, at higher levels, and it all has to do, and it all goes back to Ma'aden and the tight availability that we're seeing in the market globally.
Talking about Northern Africa, there is another important market there, which is Egypt. And in fact, Egypt succeeded in ensuring gas supply stability in 2025. So we haven't seen any significant cuts of supply during summertime. And first of all, because of efforts related to LNG infrastructure development. How do you see situation with supply from Egypt, and maybe even more importantly, how do you see cost of ammonia there? Because of course, price of LNG is much higher versus the tube gas, like usual gas price.
For sure. Egypt is a country where in the past we have seen a lot of issues with gas. We have seen producers favoring urea production rather than ammonia when prices of urea were up. At the moment, we are not seeing many issues. I'm hearing that Abu Qir might have some availability in Q4. So it seems that at the moment, the way the market is and the way ammonia prices are, any producers that can produce ammonia are trying to produce ammonia and aiming to get high prices as well, just to align with the trend in the market.
I see, I see. Let's now move to the other part of the world. You already mentioned Trinidad, that there were some, let's say, hiccups in Q3. However, the market expected that there will be significant gas curtailments, which didn't happen actually. What about Q4? Do you expect these curtailments to happen? And how do you evaluate supply stability and volume out of Trinidad?
For sure, we are definitely expecting further gas curtailments in Trinidad. The information is not very freely available, but we are hearing that maybe in November we will have further gas curtailments. That, of course, creates an issue in the US, in Europe, in Morocco, for sure. So yeah, that's what we're hearing so far. Expecting Q4. I mean, November specifically, further gas curtailments than usual.
I see, I see. And talking about US that you mentioned, US was expected the whole year, this year, it was expected that the supply from US will increase because of this new plant. However, as far as I understand, it still didn't happen. What is the situation there in terms of supply and also in terms of demand, actually, because right now it is a moment of direct ammonia application season. So how all this work together?
Of course. So in terms of supply, we're still waiting for the Gulf Coast ammonia plant to come on stream. There was some talk that they were trying to start it up about a few weeks ago, but so far nothing in the market. Of course, that creates a massive issue for the producer, first of all, but also for Morocco. They have an offtake agreement for most of the production there. That's why we have seen OCP in the market, in the spot market, more often lately. So no exact date of when Gulf Coast ammonia will resume production. And then there's another plant, the Woodside plant in Beaumont. So that, according to the company, is going to come on stream in the second half of 2025. So far we have not seen anything from them. So I'm hoping by the end of the year it will come on stream and it will start with green ammonia and then move on to blue ammonia production. And in terms of demand that you mentioned, so at the moment activity is slow in the domestic demand. Activity is slow in the domestic US market because of the harvest. But we are expecting strong fall application and also demand from the nitrates production, so UAN and urea production in the US. So I'm staying optimistic for US domestic demand.
Let's hope that it will come true indeed. We already started moving to the demand side of the equation. And of course, we are coming to the season, which is very, very important in terms of demand for one region, which is Europe, of course. So the region is approaching top season. That will be very complicated for the region, of course, because of CBAM kicking in. So what is your expectation for Q4 in terms of demand from Europe? For example, for some downstream products, we already see that the imports before CBAM is going to kick in increase. Is it the same situation for ammonia, or it is somehow different?
Of course, Europe is a very important market in ammonia. So far we had been expecting a lot of demand from Europe for ammonia and from the nitrates market. That demand didn't materialize as strong as we wanted. But I think the closer we are getting to the end of the year, we're seeing more and more demand for ammonia in Europe. I see the same trend as for nitrates, that ammonia buyers are looking to buy before the CBAM kicks in on the 1st of January. Also, another factor is the natural gas prices. So they have firmed, then they stabilized. So at one point, we're seeing production costs of ammonia in Europe having a very small gap with imported prices. And we're also seeing a few nitrate producers also coming back on stream or increasing operating rates. So Europe definitely needs to buy ammonia. The problem is, where will they find this ammonia? Because as I said, North Africa doesn't have much ammonia. The US will be busy with their domestic market. Trinidad will have the gas curtailments. Of course, there's domestic ammonia production, but I'm waiting to see if there's going to be maybe some lack of supply for Europe.
That is not too good to hear, of course, because the prices are already high and affordability is already low. So yeah, indeed, let's see how it plays out for European buyers, first of all. The other important region, of course, is India, always important. But there we see that top phosphate season is coming to its end. Phosphates is the key buyer, phosphates production is the key buyer of ammonia. So what do you expect from Indian demand in Q4?
For sure. For sure. I mean, you're right. And India needs to buy ammonia yesterday. So following the issues of from the Iran-Israel escalation, there was tight availability from Iran, but now it has resumed. So Iran is definitely Iranian material definitely going to India. We're seeing some demand as well in India, also due to the Ma'aden shutdown. So buyers have had contracts with Ma'aden. They're getting in the market to get some tons. So far, we also had two other plant maintenances in Indonesia. We had Parnarea, and in Malaysia we had Petronas. So they are suppliers to India. So India definitely needs to buy ammonia. They need to buy as soon as possible. We have already seen Deepak Fertilizers coming out with a long-term purchase tender for the next 3 years. India needs to hurry if they want to get the ammonia.
Yes, indeed. It's hurry is the slogan of this year India's purchases, I would say. How do you see situation with demand in the industrial sector? We continue discussing it every time when we meet, and never it is positive. Maybe some positive news you will share today?
I wish I could give you more positive news, but yeah, the industrial demand in Asia seems to be down. I think we'll see more demand for the fertilizer sector rather than the industrial sector in Asia. Also because we are seeing a couple of maintenances of planned maintenances of acrylonitrile producers in Asia. So unfortunately, I think we're going to end the year with low industrial demand, but maybe the increased fertilizer demand in Asia and the lack of mud will support the market in that region.
I see. Thank you. And I would like to come back to the question that we already started to discuss because it is so important factor in the market in general for fertilizers. It is CBAM, of course. So as of January 1, it will be completely new reality for Europe because of that. And it is a very hot topic because it is such a mess, I would say, especially in downstream nitrogen markets. I see this mess because there is still no guidance regarding CBAM cost. However, for ammonia, situation is different and the cost is already clear. Can you please just very briefly explain how it will work for ammonia and how it will influence market situation?
Sure. I mean, I tend to agree with you. So far, there needs to be some more clarity from the European Union, the European Commission. There's a lot of details to be ironed out. And so far, it's affecting, well, most of the products, but mainly ammonia. So any producers that export ammonia to Europe need to declare their carbon credits and the carbon emissions. So the buyer in Europe would have to calculate these costs into their price that they're buying ammonia. So far, I've been talking to a few producers outside Europe, and they're saying we have already started calculating this in our contracts because we need to get ahead of CBAM. It's going to affect not only ammonia, but all of the products. And it definitely needs some clarification. I'm hoping there will be some more clarification, but we're already in the middle of October, and the clock is ticking for CBAM. I mean, at ICIS, we are calculating the carbon adjusted cost of ammonia for Northwest Europe and for calcium ammonium nitrate for Germany. So we're definitely taking it into account into our prices and into our calculations, and we're definitely continuing this analysis in our reports.
I see. Indeed, let's watch the situation developing and hopefully the mess will be solved, specifically for downstream markets. I'm talking now because indeed ammonia is more prepared. At least you have this price. The understanding is there. I want to thank you very much, Sylvia, for this insightful discussion as always, and wish you a very successful Q4. And I'm hoping to see you here in a quarter from now to discuss trends at that time.
Thank you so much, Maria. Always a pleasure talking to you, and I hope next time I'll come with more positive news. And thank you to our listeners. And if you have any questions, please get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. As usually, I will leave all credentials of Sylvia and ICIS in the comments. Please let me know in the comments which other questions related to ammonia market you would like me to uncover, and I will be very glad to do so with Sylvia next time. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, push the bell in order not to miss any updates, and see you soon.